Hey guys. This is going to be a little bit of a ranty video. I'm really feeling really passionate about something. We're going to talk about twin flames, and it's not going to be a long video because it's cold out here. But what I want to address is twin flames, the madness, the obsession, the calling your twin flame. They're like, I'm obsessing about my twin flame. I can't stop thinking about my twin flame. It's like twin flame this and twin flame that and fucking twin flame this, right? Like everything, right? There's a whole chapter. Actually, there's a few chapters on twin flames in my book. And just stop. Like fucking stop. Stop it. Like just stop it. Because this is bullshit. Like this twin flame stuff is like, I'm not saying that the whole concept of twin flames is bullshit. I'm saying that the madness and the obsession is like, okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, this is something, and this is my experience, right? And if you've struggled with twin flame stuff, if you've been triggered, if you've been wounded, if you're longing, if you're chasing, if you're like been frustrated and like been through like all these emotions that this person brings up in you, like let me know, give me some hearts, comment below. Maybe tell me, what have you experienced? What have you experienced with a twin flame? But like this stuff has to stop, guys, like because it is causing unnecessary pain, unnecessary obsession, unnecessary stuff that is being spiritually bypassed. Okay, what I mean by this is people are praying to their angels, clearing their chakras. They are like healing themselves, hoping that their twin flame will come back to them if they heal themselves. Like, and it might give you the drive and the passion to heal yourself, but it's not about the other person, right? Because actually, if that person is running away from you, what's actually going on? It's not because they're a fucking twin flame, right? It's not because they're the twin flame. They are a wound, mate, and they're running away because you have abandonment wounds, because they're not available, because your mother or father wasn't available. And they are basically there to show you the shit that you need to heal so you can actually show up for yourself and be the partner, be the man, be the woman, be the parent that wasn't there for you. That person is running away not because they're your twin flame, right? That person is not your twin flame if they're running away from you. It's not, right? Obviously, this is my personal opinion, but if that person is not prepared to do the work, to be in the relationship with you, and it's triggering you, these are because they're a wound, mate, and they are there to show you that these wounds that need to be healed, and these places that you're not loving inside of you, they are this mirror there. And that doesn't mean that you're supposed to be with them, right? Right? And this happened for me twice. I had two twin flames. Phil's twin flames. And I went to twin flame healers, and I went into retreats, and I did all this stuff. And guess what happened? What happened? I found out they were narcissists. And I found out that I'm an empath and I was a codependent, and I was attracting this because they were proving my rejection wounds. They were proving my abandonment wounds. They were proving all the places that I didn't think were lovable. They were there to show me that, right? They were proving how I was crossing my boundaries, how I was devaluing myself, how I was being the rescuer, how I was like abandoning myself, right? Trying to make them see, if only they could see how we could be together, if only that if they would stop ignoring me, and if they could just see what could happen between us. You know, maybe if I do this to myself or change this or fix this and help them to heal, maybe I can be the rescuer and heal them. Let me know if this is resonating for you guys, right? And then the whole, I'm going to call in my twin flame. I'm like, be careful what you wish for. If you're calling in a twin flame, you better have healed your shit. Because let me tell you what you're going to attract. You're probably going to attract a wound mate. And the only way you actually attract a soulmate is if you become your soulmate first. If you are looking for a soulmate or for a twin flame from a place of I don't have love, I don't have my needs met, then you're going to attract someone who's going to show you all the places that you're not loved, all the places that you need to meet your own needs, all the places that you need to start showing up for yourself because you're expecting someone else to show up and meet your needs for you, right? And this is basically what my whole book is about, like the whole thing, like, you know, I ended up in toxic, abusive relationships and people I thought were the one, the soulmate, and I let them do that, and enabled their behavior, because the intensity of the connection made me think, which was actually the chemicals, the oxytocin and the serotonin, dopamine, the polarity, the sexual chemistry, that kind of stuff. That's what was going on, was the causing the intensity, was the chemicals in my brain. It wasn't like some spiritual connection, right? For sure, there was probably be a soul contract there, some kind of thing that we've agreed upon to come in and show me the lesson that I need to learn, because I'm not whole, and I actually need to love myself. And I don't think we'll ever truly be whole. Actually, I think we're probably already like whole, and it's like all the things we've got to unlearn that told us that we're not whole, right? So, yeah, so this is the and there's so much stuff out there, right? There's so much stuff out there, and there's some beautiful twin flame teachings out there. Most of the twin flame teachings I resonate to, and I've got some friends who do this work, talk about this inner marriage, right? They talk about becoming whole and like marrying yourself and all this kind of thing, and then having some kind of authentic twin flame connection, right? But most people have this concept of twin flame as like this other half of my soul, and this yearning and longing and obsession and frustration and all this stuff, when really you're actually in a codependent relationship. That's what's really going on. You're in codependency, right? And this is why you're getting triggered as fuck, because there's all these wounds that are unhealed that need to be seen and loved. It's not about the other person. It's not about them. So this stuff has to stop, because it's causing so much pain and frustration. And I talk to people when I have calls with certain clients, and they'll tell me, I've met this person, and I'm like, that's a wound mate. And they're like, oh, they're my twin flame. That's a wound mate. And they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear this, that this person, they have this most intense connection they've never had in their life, and they're saying they're their twin flame, and they're their soulmate, and they're all this stuff, right? They're saying this stuff. And yet they're ignoring them, or they're running away, or they're saying one thing and doing another. Yeah, I'm like, the person is not the person you think it is. They're just telling you everything you want to hear, or vice versa, whatever. But, but yeah, so it's like, I see there's a lot of spiritual bypassing going on. And what I mean by that is we get hooked on doing all the spiritual work to try and heal ourselves, but not going into like the real integrated grounded work into this, how do I need to show up in this reality and actually show up differently, right? And have boundaries, like, instead of like, let's pray to my angels, which I work in the angelic realm. I work with, like, I'm not dissing that at all, because I actually, like, I'm connected to angels. I've got angel wings on my back, right? But what I'm saying is that it's all good to like clear chakras and do angel cards and to pray and all this kind of stuff. Like, that's awesome. But where are you showing up and actually saying, actually, that's a boundary for me. That behavior that you're showing is a boundary for me. Instead of, I'm going to pray to my angels and hope that something changes, you know. It's like actually showing up and going, no, I'm enabling behavior here. And it's not okay that you're not communicating with me. And it's not okay that... and I'm not going to overgive, okay? I'm not going to try and prove my worth to you, because I'm a worthy, valuable human being who's in enough. And if you don't see that, if you're running away and you're not showing up, then this is where I have to show up and say, that's not okay, right? So do you see the difference there between going, oh, like, actually, I'm going to go and, like, heal myself. Go heal yourself, but put the action in, right, to actually take the steps to integrate the healing that you're doing, right? And this is a big piece I see missing, because I was doing all the spiritual work. I was doing so much chakra clearing and energy healings and psychic readings, and like, I teach this stuff, right? And then I ended up in a relationship with a narcissist for 9 months and getting severely abused, right? And I was like, how the fuck did that happen when I've been doing all this work on myself? Because I actually hadn't been integrating into the real world and working through the emotional body, looking at my patterns of being a rescuer, of being a martyr, of being an overgiver, of being like, I was like kind of seeing them on a surface level, but not really going into my, like, the understanding that my brain had created these patterns out of safety. And I was continuing these patterns over and over and over, until I freaking got to the lowest of the low, and realized that I actually had like some deeper work to do, to go into, going into the deep emotional shit, not the kind of surface level stuff that I was doing, which was all like, I was doing all the upper stuff, the upper chakras, if we talk about the chakra system, but it wasn't like the raw, like, rage and anger and that was still wanting to be felt and expressed, or setting any boundaries around my time and energy, and and standards around how I deserve to be treated, and understanding that all these men that were showing up in my life was simply the reflection of my own unavailability, because I was suppressing all this emotional shit. So these men that kept showing up that weren't available to me was simply because actually I wasn't feeling my stuff. My heart was closed. I had this wall, even though it looked like I didn't. Actually, I did. I told you it was going to be a bit ranty. But I feel like this stuff needs to be talked about, because like people get obsessed. They get obsessed on someone else, someone outside of them. This whole self-marriage thing, it's not about not being with anyone. It's about loving yourself first and not looking for someone from a place of lack. Being with someone, choosing someone from a place of fullness, becoming your own twin flame. Like, at the end of the day, you are your own twin flame, right? That's what it's about. And guess what? When you become that, that's what you naturally attract. And that person will honor you and love you and value you, because that's the standard you hold for yourself. You honor you, you value you, you respect yourself, and you know what you're worth. And if someone is not showing up in the same way, you won't put up with that. You'll know that that person's not right for you. You'll know that they're not going to be able to honor you, or they're not available for that. And you'll be okay with the fact that they ghosted you. We don't even care. You're like, thanks, buddy. You did me a favor. Like, you clearly weren't available, and I'm not going to waste my time with you now not being available, because guess what? I'm showing up for me. I'm showing up for myself now. And I'm going to be the partner, the parent that I didn't have as a child, right? Yeah. So, Kelly, thank you. Great question. Thank you. What type of work? This is the work that I do with my clients, right? So, I think you have to do a mix. I think it's important. Like, spiritual work is great. I do a lot of spiritual work, and but I think it's, there's an integration piece in there that's really, really important. And so this is why I have my book coming out, and I have I have a longer program as well, but I also have my free 5-day program. So it takes you through this process of feeling and releasing your emotions, connecting to what's really there, like what's really going on. What are the wounds? What are the patterns that you keep playing out over and over and over? And why is that? Why is this pattern? Because this pattern is keeping you safe. It's what you know. It's what's familiar for your brain. And your brain chooses from familiarity because it thinks that's safe. But we know that's not safe, right? Ultimately, like for me, I had an association that love and abuse were the same thing. And this came from being smacked as a child. And it wasn't like, it was like back then it was like a disciplinary thing, and it was quite normal. Like, my childhood was very loving, but maybe I received 3 or 4 smacks in my life as a disciplinarian. Back in when I grew up, that was quite like a done thing to do. It was quite an acceptable way. But what would happen is, and it's going to be a whole other live stream, but basically, after I believe that, after being like smacked as a little girl, there would be a point in time where I received love from that, and I received affection, and I received it's like you get punished and then you get loved, right? And so I had this repeating, like 3 abusive relationships I've been in, where I would get like hit, and then I'd be loved on, and there'd be remorse, and there'd be like, so this like in my brain, this is what was safe for me. This is what I've known, because in that scenario I don't die, and the brain will choose whatever is safe and what's known and what's familiar, right? So I mean, like, the process really is like really feeling and releasing your emotions. Like, this is the first thing. It's like you have to like there's a lot of spiritual bypassing around anger. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, just we have to feel anger. We have to give ourselves permission to feel what's there, and not just be like in our heads trying to understand it, or it's like actually going into this raw, angry, wild part of us and releasing that is really, really important. And then we can look at our responsibility around that. Then we can look at, well, actually, what was my part in this? Like, what are the patterns that I've been playing out? Like, what's going on with that? Why, how have I enabled this behavior? And when I say enabled, I don't mean it's not victim blaming, it's not fault. It's like, how have I allowed it? What things have I done that, with abusive relationship, for example, one of the things I enabled is by going back a time and a time again. And this has to do with trauma bonds. It's a whole other topic. I'll talk more about that later. And then we can recognize, well, if I can take self-responsibility for my part in it, then I can choose differently next time. Then I can notice, hang on a minute, someone shows up in my life, I've been a rescuer, and instead of going into, oh, let me help you with this, it's like, actually, I need to sit back. Because if I know that I'm going to play my little rescuer because this is what makes me feel valuable and worthy, because all I've known is that I get love for being a rescuer. I feel like we're going to a lot of things. It's like this natural tendency to want to go and rescue and help people. And what about if you just sat back and let them come to you and actually see you for who you are instead of your rescuer ways, right? And to actually see you for who you are as a beautiful, incredible being, instead of seeing you for, oh, that person is there, I'm going to help you, right? It's that person is seeing you as, it's like usually you would have seen your value as providing something or providing some kind of help. You identify that's your value and worth. This is how you get love. This is how you get approval. And who are you without that? Like, it's looking at, who am I? It's getting dark here. Who am I if I take off the rescuer role? Who am I if that person? And like really identify, can I love who I am without that? Can I love this person that doesn't, what if I don't give anything of myself? Am I a worthy, lovable being for not, like, even if I don't give anything? Because yes, you are, but you have to believe that and you have to feel that. And when you go into a relationship, you have to go in from that point, knowing your value, knowing your worth, because that person, if you do that, that person will reflect that back to you. They do not, they will not respect you. Like at the end of the day, oh, my battery's dying. Okay. I was like, this is going to be a short live stream. Why do I say those things? Okay. Oh, there's a light. How beautiful is my backyard? It's pretty epic. Okay. I'm going inside, guys. I've only got 20%. So if you guys have got any questions while I'm walking, check out my pool. How cool is my pool? Anyway, while I'm walking, let me know. I feel like we've dived into a few things now, twin flames, rescuing, and kind of understanding how to start working through that stuff. But these patterns are deep, right? So, oh yeah, this light is good. Okay. It's like really looking at what are your different roles that you play in relationships. Like, how do you show up, as a people pleaser, as a rescuer, as an overgiver. Okay, yes, okay, cool. As a martyr, so it's like you put the other person above you and put your needs second. So that's when you lose yourself, right, as well. So these is kind of some of the main things that I've had to, I've had to work through, fix the hair, that I've had to work through, right? And it's like these patterns, these roles are ingrained, like, and the reason for that is because your brain created them out of survival, out of safety. And so there's some serious rewiring that has to go on in there too. So that's a lot of the work that I do with my clients is rewiring out of these patterns and creating new programming around your worth and also, having really strong boundaries and knowing how to communicate those with consciousness. Yeah. So, and then there's also things around like attachment styles, like whether you're anxious or avoidant. I think that's a whole different live stream. Not going to get into that. But yeah, so this was just a little ranty rant. And the other thing I want to point out here, if you are calling in a soulmate, if you're calling in a soulmate or a twin flame, whatever you need to look at, what you really need to look at is, where are you calling this in from? Okay, where are you calling this in from? Is it a calling from a place of missing something, or from a place of lack, right? Because the person who's going to show you up is going to show you all those places that need to be brought into, to be seen and to be loved, or where you're feeling lack, right? Or is it from a place of fullness of, I feel really full, I have a secure, healthy relationship with myself. I've looked at my patterns of rescuing and people-pleasing, and I've looked at the ways that I've enabled behavior in the past, and I'm fully well aware of this, and I know how to show up differently, right? So that I come from this really secure place in relationship. And also I want to add in there, doesn't mean you're going to have to get it perfect. Like you've been a rescuer and you're never going to rescue or want to help someone. Not at all, right? It's like actually, if you do it or you're going to do it, you catch yourself, right? And maybe you have a conversation about it, but you're really noticing, you're really well aware of it, right? And the other piece is, do you know how to manage your triggers? Do you know how to feel your emotions? Like, so if someone shows up and they trigger the fuck out of you, do you know actually how to manage that, right? Do you know, like this is another thing, this is in my 5-day program, is actually managing your triggers. So this is a free program. So please, go and, it's tinyurl.com/5 days, the number 5 days to love. If you go to that, and then you'll be able to get the videos. And in the Facebook group's called Becoming the One, which is the same name as my book, which has all the stuff in it and like lots more depth, like breaking some, what's the word I'm looking for? Spiritual bypassing stuff in my book. That's not the word I was looking for, but it'll do. So where was I going with that? The emotions, like feeling your emotions, because again, that person someone's going to come in and they're going to show you this unhealed stuff that needs to be felt. And are you in a place to like be able to manage that? And like, so again, the key is to having this really healthy relationship with you, where you know how to feel your emotions, where you know how to manage your triggers, where you can have some healthy conversations with people and be vulnerable and have all those, have a great level of self-awareness. Like, so, and then you're like, okay, I'm actually like a really healthy relationship with myself now. And I'd really like to share my life with someone. Right. So, and if you are calling something in and you're coming from a place of like there's something missing, just asking yourself, what is it that I'm really longing for? What is it that I'm missing? Is it touch? Is it connection? Is it company? Is it to be loved? Is it to be seen? Is it for sexual expression? What is it? And then you ask yourself, how can I bring this into my life myself, right? How can I bring this in? Because what will happen is whoever shows up in the healthy form of showing up is they show up in the reflection of what you already have, right? They show up in the reflection of what you already have, not of what's missing, right? If someone shows up in what's missing, that's when you're going to get a wound mate. If someone shows up in what you already have, they're just like basically going to take it to the next level or reflect it. And then you will have more of a soulmate energy, right? So become your own soulmate. That's the key, becoming your own soulmate first. Like, marry yourself if you want, right? Like, that's what I did. And then you'll notice that the kind of people that show up in your life are different, right? And sure, you might still get triggered with that person or people, and that's great. Triggers are awesome because, again, they're going to show you, but you're going to know how to manage it, and you're going to know how to use them to have a deeper connection, right? So you use your triggers as a tool to then even create more connection, because you can, instead of like, going into your fight, flight, or freeze with your triggers, you actually feel your emotions, and you can have this conversation with that person about it. What came up for you? What story were you telling yourself? What feelings did it bring up? And hang on, what agreements can we make now in the future? Do we need to be a bit more empathetic or compassionate, or, is there something I need to work through with this? And can we support each other with that? That is a healthy relationship. And the first thing you need to do is have that with yourself, right? So when you get triggered, this is your opportunity to have a healthy relationship with you, right? So, thanks, Ariel, for putting that up. So if you guys have any questions, I would love to know if you're struggling with anything. What I'm also going to do, I just got off a call with one of my amazing mentors, Alex Tripod. She's like, EJ, I think you need to do more just like calls, like 10, 15-minute calls. And so I was like, okay, cool. I love talking to people. So if you feel called to learn more about this, if you want to go on this deep healing journey, become your own one, and have this really beautiful, healthy relationship. If you know that you've got patterns and you're kind of like, I know I've got patterns I need to work through, and I've got wounds I need to heal, this is the work I do. And if you want to know more about that, or just have a chat maybe and see where you're at, please feel free. Just comment below chat, and then I'll send you a little booking link. I've still got to set that up. I'm using it. I'm starting a new program. Let me know, and then I can reach out to you and send you the link, and then we can just set up a time to have a quick chat, just you and me. I don't do this very often, but just going with it, just trusting the guidance with that as well. So, particularly if you struggle with twin flame, wound mate, abandonment, rejection, triggers, all of that stuff, like that's my jam. That's my stuff. Love it. I love working through that stuff with people. It really excites me because it's been my massive journey of mine. So if you want to work through that stuff, just write chat below and we'll set up a little time and you can get to experience a little bit of my magic and I get to know you a little bit better. And I'm really good at identifying just through some language what's really going on deeper. Like that's one of my beautiful gifts is you can just kind of tell me something. I'm like, okay, that's what's going on. My friends know me well for this. I'm really good at keeping people accountable. My friends sometimes are, I don't know, I'm good. Anyway, all good. So, I look forward to connecting with some of you. I'll go set up the little link and we'll set up a little time to have a little chat. Have an amazing, beautiful weekend, and we'll chat soon. If you love this, let me know. If you give me some loves, if you want more of this stuff, let me know as well with some love hearts or comments. All right, bye beauties.